What's up guys, I'm BTC. Baptiste has gotten his first change on the PTR, and McCree's ultimate is now significantly better than it's ever been before. First up is the change for Baptiste. This has to do with his ultimate, the amplification matrix. This change is purely cosmetic, however, as none of the stats are changing from what they were previously. This is because a lot of players on the PTR were having difficulties with the amplification matrix and treating it like it's a barrier. In fact, it looked very similar to a barrier that Reinhardt or Orisa might put down, so players were standing behind it expecting to take less damage, but of course they would take full damage as the amplification matrix didn't stop any of that incoming attacks. So Blizzard went and they changed it, and now this is what it looks like here. So it's very clearly a distinctive, different type of effect from what you would normally have with the barriers. Now, as far as Baptiste getting any balance changes while he's on the PTR, I'm not really certain that's going to happen. I think they're probably just going to push him out onto the live version of the game just as he is now. And by the way, if you're wondering when is Baptiste going to get to the live version of the game, it's probably going to be about 2 or 3 weeks from now. Next thing I want to talk about is McCree, and specifically his ultimate Deadeye. In a couple of recent videos, I've talked about McCree and how he is going to be a lot more powerful than he has been in the past, and in addition to that, he has some amazing combos with Baptiste, particularly the Deadeye and the Immortality Field and the Amplification Matrix. It is just incredibly powerful when you start combining some of those things. Now, I don't want to spend the next 5 minutes rambling on about how I think it feels a lot stronger than it was before. Instead, I'm going to show you side-by-side comparisons of what the Deadeye does on live versus PTR, and how much faster you can lock onto enemies, and how much extra damage it deals to barriers. And as I found out when I was testing this stuff, it's quite a substantial increase. Let's run through some of these examples. The first is going to be Pharah, who has 200 hit points. That's a very common target for the High Noon because it's difficult to deal with the Mercy and the Pharah up in the sky. High Noon just takes them both out, no problem. But as you can see, there's no change whatsoever in the lock-on time for any character that's got 200 hit points or less. Let's look at some targets with higher health. Reinhardt is going to take 0.23 seconds less time on the PTR than he does on the live version of the game. That's only 2/5 of a second. It may not seem like much, but remember, when you're using Deadeye, you glow like the sun and everyone is trying to kill you. So having that extra time that you don't need is going to be pretty good. Let's add a little more health. What happens if Lucio uses Sound Barrier to protect his team during the Deadeye? Well, on the PTR, it's 0.35 seconds less than what it is on the live version. So more than half a second gets cut off. And once more, that half a second feels like an eternity when you're trying to get that lock on. Let's add a little bit more health. What about Winston during his ultimate, or even Hammond who uses Adaptive Shield? He can easily get up to 1,000 health. Well, as it turns out, 1.21 seconds get cut off. That is a massive amount of time that is reduced from being able to get that lock on a target that has 1,000 hit points or more. What about barriers? Because Blizzard specifically mentioned that Deadeye is going to be stronger against them, and it definitely is. On the live version of the game, if you allow the Deadeye to go all the way and then activate it right before the end, the Reinhardt barrier will still have over 500 health remaining. However, on the PTR version, Deadeye will completely destroy a 2,000 hit point barrier when it has about 25% of the charge left. So basically, if you wait until it hits the 3 o'clock, if it's lined up with the little cancel icon on the right hand side, as soon as it hits right there, you can activate it and it will completely destroy a 2,000 hit point Reinhardt barrier. Now here's the thing though, you're almost never going to be in a situation where Reinhardt has the full health of his barrier. There's always going to be damage done to it. So in that case, you don't have to wait until it's done 75%. You just wait until it's at half, at the 50% mark. You then attack, and it will deal about 1,000 damage to that barrier and to everyone else. So really, this is quite a bit stronger. Barriers are going to be far, far less effective at stopping that Deadeye. Obviously, D.Va's defense matrix still completely shuts it down, but the barriers are a lot less effective. And once again, if you combine McCree with the Immortality Field, you're not going to stop him from getting off that Deadeye unless you can hit him with a Sleep Dart or something, right? You have to destroy the Immortality Drone first and then take out the McCree, but that is just precious seconds that you no longer have. With just the buff to the Deadeye, it's definitely a much better ultimate, but when you combine it with the Immortality Field or even the Amplification Matrix, then it just becomes unbelievably good. You drop the Amplification Matrix, and then McCree uses his Deadeye, in about 1 second, you're going to be able to wipe out the entire enemy team. That is unbelievably powerful. So it does seem like the days of using Deadeye to just get a free reload might be gone. What do you guys think about the changes to McCree and to Baptiste's ultimate? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss anything. Also, come hang out in my Discord server and my Twitch live stream. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to see what kind of cool VIP rewards you can get, check the links down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.